Good day, everyone. Welcome to Real Conservative Headline Weekend News. I'm your host, Nathaniel. Rajkumar, starting off locally here in Trinidad and Tobago. India's Minister of External Affairs, Dr. Subrah Jaishankar, arrived in Trinidad and Tobago yesterday for a high-level mission to solidify bilateral ties following a recent milestone agreement. His visit focuses on the concretization of partnerships in digital transformation, health, and renewable energy, marked by the launch of a National Prosthetics Programme in Siparia. This initiative follows a successful camp where 800 citizens received prosthetic limbs through Indian technical collaboration. Beyond formal policy, the visit reinforces deep-seated cultural links through community engagements, including a visit to Nelson Island and meetings with the Indian diaspora. Minister Jaishankar is scheduled to hold strategic talks with Prime Minister Kamla Persad at Parliament to explore new trade and investment opportunities in sectors such as pharmaceuticals. Probably that might make the cost for certain types of products cheaper here in Trinidad, automobiles, and machinery. These discussions aim to leverage India's development models to support the ongoing transformation of Trinidad and Tobago's economy. So you see, people, P&M media and the P&M activists outside there. The government isn't only looking to depending on the energy industry to revive our economy, but the reality still remains, in spite of all these different diplomatic developments taking place and the encouragement to invest in our country. The oil industry remains our backbone, and it's really important to understand that that is what we are going to use the revenue generated from the oil industry, especially when we reopen the refinery. That is what we can use to be able to diversify and invest. But for now, definitely is also important to encourage all these superpowers, powerhouses around the world to invest in our country. That is so important. That is why we need to become even closer with countries like America and India.
We have had discussions, on the last occasion when Prime Minister Modi came, he spoke about the many gifts that he gave to Trinidad and Tobago. Some of them we are still working out. And then there are other bilateral discussions concerning pharmaceuticals especially that we want to have discussions with India on. There are matters related to energy that India wants to have discussions with us on. There are matters related to food security that India wants to have discussions with us on. The agro-processing plant being one of them, but there are many other types of agro-processing plants that they would be minded to bring to Trinidad and Tobago to get our agriculture sector, reignited again. So there are several discussions. National security is one of them as well too. India is known to have a robust army as well. So there are several different discussions that will engage both sides during the 2-day visit, and I suspect that there will be a lot of benefit that will come out of those discussions, just as there were benefits that came out of the discussion when Sri Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister, visited Trinidad and Tobago last year.
Mainstream media's opinion letter. It wasn't. I don't think it was the Kakash media. I think it was Express. But I consider all of them now to be Kakash affiliated media. It's PNM media, anyhow you take it. So mainstream media's opinion letter says the recent murders of multiple individuals in Belmont on Thursday has raised fresh concerns about rising violence and the risk of society becoming desensitized to repeated killings. All of a sudden, you concerned about that? My response, where were these experts when similar tragedies occurred when PNM was governing our nation? Where was the Kakash media and the Express and stuff like that? Huh? Violence isn't rising here in T&T because the reality is it never decreased, even after the new government entered office. You see, people, I'm not trying to be no hypocrite. I'm not just trying to blindly support the UNC. The crime issue never went away. You don't have to be an expert in order to understand that using PNM's SOE crime fighting strategies, the PNM started it, was going to fail. I said it from the very beginning. People could go back and look at any of my videos and they will see that I have been trying to tell the government that the SOE was never going to work. Gang culture, normalization, and indoctrination along with the worship of weed, are the two main reasons why extreme forms of lawlessness continues to plague our land that was once a paradise. Not a perfect paradise, but still a paradise compared to now. You can walk almost anywhere in Trinidad and Tobago without having to fear for your life, even in the night time. I continue to hope and pray that Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar and her team will realize that they must legislate new laws to prohibit the promotion of violence and gang affiliation in the entertainment industry and in public places. You may not be able to prohibit someone from producing a song that glorifies gangs, but you can prohibit the mainstream media, you can prohibit promoters, party promoters, from playing that type of music that glorifies gang affiliation, glorifies violence, glorifies murder. You can do your part as utilizing that to prohibit that from being played and promoted in our public places and on the airwaves, people. That is what you can do. It is not entertainment. It is glorification of evil, of death. That is what is being glorified. I said it on my other channel just now, and I will say it again. Look at the difference. There are singers like Chronix, Taurus Riley, Christopher Martin, right here in Trinidad and Tobago, Prophet Benjamin, Positive, who highlight crime, who sing about crime, but they do not glorify it. They tell the youth to put down the guns. They tell the youth to follow a path of righteousness. They tell the youth to show peace and love in their communities. That's what they do. So they do highlight crime, but they don't glorify it. But then the activists go outside there and say, no, this is all about entertainment and there's nobody trying to encourage crime. But yet that's exactly what they do in the music and the songs. And then we have the DJs that wheel selected, run the tunes again on our airwaves. Songs that promote gang affiliation. Songs that promote the usage of drugs. Right? Now, sadly, a lot of the conscious artists and them also promote the usage of marijuana as well. But at least they don't be promoting crime and violence and so forth. Nobody is perfect. I never agree with that, what they do when it pertains to that. Positive, don't they? Because Positive is a born-again Christian, so he doesn't promote the drugs either. But the point is, putting the drugs part aside, the gang culture itself, which is the glorification of violence and gang affiliation and murder and turf wars, that is what is destroying our country, along with the drugs. Don't get me wrong. The drugs is destroying people's minds as well. I want to say they must also ensure that the corrupt and incompetent TTPS is significantly reformed. Capital punishment must also be resumed to ensure that all murderers receive the highest form of punishment possible in Trinidad and Tobago.
Saturday, May 9th, 2026 is expected to be hot and sunny across Trinidad and Tobago with slightly hazy and at times breezy conditions. While the day will be largely fair, there is a small chance of isolated showers, particularly during the afternoon and overnight periods. In Trinidad, highs will reach 32 degrees Celsius, though it may feel as hot as 35 degrees Celsius due to high humidity. In Tobago, highs will be slightly cooler, peaking near 31 degrees Celsius. Overnight lows across both islands will drop to around 25 degrees Celsius. Mild concentrations of Saharan dust are expected, and sensitive individuals are advised to take necessary precautions if spending time outdoors. The UV index will be very high, peaking at 10, so sun protection is highly recommended. Winds will be breezy at times, coming from the east to northeast at 05 to 30 km per hour. Seas are expected to be slight to moderate, with open water waves reaching 1.0 meters to 1.5 meters.
International news now. The morning of May 8, 2026 marked a significant shift in government transparency as the Pentagon released more than 160 previously classified files regarding unidentified anomalous phenomena. Following a directive from President Donald Trump, a dedicated online portal was launched featuring videos, photographs, and transcripts dating back nearly 80 years. This initial release includes notable items such as Apollo mission transcripts, describing unusual fragments and infrared imagery of unexplained projects recorded over the western United States. While the administration has framed the move as an effort to provide unprecedented transparency, officials clarify that the materials do not offer definitive proof of extraterrestrial life. Instead, the public is encouraged to review the unresolved cases and draw their own conclusions. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth noted that this is only the beginning of a rolling declassification process with new data tranches expected every few weeks as millions of additional records are reviewed. Now, of course, the media and a lot of individuals, activists outside there, are saying that this is going to make a lot of Christians lose their faith. No, not if sound doctrine was instilled into you from young or from whatever age, and you're going and you're attending a full gospel Bible believing ministry. You're not going to lose your faith, because at the end of the day, we have all known from the very beginning when all this UFO thing started to really become popular, especially when I was a child in the 80s. We all know that the Bible says that there are principalities and powers in high places and that there are fallen angels. There are angels that serve God, and then there are angels that rebelled with Satan. Whether it was at the beginning of creation or whether it was before, we don't know, right? We all know for sure that the entire universe was created. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. If there was probably heaven outside of this universe from before that, and the angels were with God for a certain amount of time before that, God alone knows that. When we go to heaven, we will ask God and we shall find out about that. But what we can know for sure is that this creation and this solar system was created exactly when the Bible and Moses spoke about it in Genesis, what God showed him, right? We all know that as Christians, that God created the heavens and the earth, and it took 6 days. It didn't take millions of years, people. It took 6 days for God to complete creation. The earth was without shape and was void in the beginning, because God does things in stages. He started off like that. There was darkness, and then God created light. And from there, he created, he separated the waters and so forth, and created the sun, the greater light, to rule the day, and the moon, the lesser light, to rule the night. People, read your Bible. But when it pertains to these aliens, God created angels, and these angels that fell from heaven would be inhabiting all the different heavenly places, even within the universe, people. They are not limited like us. They can travel millions of miles in a split second. So at the end of the day, when it is, they most likely would probably started to construct certain spacecrafts and whatsoever just to deceive mankind. It is from ever since. Satan's mission has always been to deceive mankind. He did it in the beginning in the Garden of Eden. He deceived Eve, and then he deceived Adam as well, because Adam could have said, "No, I'm not eating of the fruit." God said for us not to eat of that fruit, but he chose to listen to his wife and eat of the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil as well, people. So, what my whole point goes back to, Satan has been on a mission to destroy mankind, right? And to deceive mankind from the very beginning. So just like how these fallen angels would have put on human form to even reproduce with women when it had giants in the Bible. So no one is supposed to end up going and losing their faith because of this, people. Because at the end of the day, we already know that there are fallen angels, there are demons outside there in the heavenlies that can put on any form. Iranian television reported the naval forces of the IRGC terrorist group arrested the oil tanker Ocean Koi in the Oman Gulf area. Listen to this, people. The tanker sailing under the flag of Barbados, Mia Motley. You know, the globalist, she does a really good job in Barbados, too, don't get me wrong. But she's tribal, and she's a globalist. She basically promotes globalism and so forth. My response, I wonder if it really came from Barbados. And if so, Will the tribal Caribbean leaders praise their precious Iranian allies? Because remember, they love Iran, they love China, they love the communists, they love the jihadists, and they despise Western civilization, the colonialists, they despise America. So I wonder if they will praise their Iranian allies for seizing this vessel. I would love the Kakash media here in Trinidad and Tobago to report about this. Most likely they won't. The Kakash media never really highlights anything, any of the evil being committed by the terrorists around the world.
Interesting facts and inspirational true stories. The story of Cuff and Link is a rare instance where a film prop became a lifelong companion, transcending the silver screen to become a symbol of enduring loyalty. When Sylvester Stallone introduced the two tiny red-eared sliders to Adrian Penino in the 1976 classic Rocky, they were merely intended to highlight the protagonist's gentle nature. However, Stallone's decision to keep the reptiles after filming concluded turned a minor production detail into a 50-year testament to his personal connection with the franchise. While many Hollywood animal actors are returned to handlers or pet shops, these original buddies remained by Stallone's side, quietly aging as their owner became a global icon. Decades later, the turtles made a nostalgic return to the spotlight, proving their longevity is as remarkable as the Rocky legacy itself. In 2018, Stallone delighted fans by revealing that Cuff and Link were not only still alive but had also made a cameo in Creed II, bridging the gap between the original film and its modern successors. Now roughly 50 years old, the pair serves as a living link to the very beginning of Stallone's career. Their continued presence in his life underscores a surprisingly wholesome reality of fame that amidst the transient nature of Hollywood, the most constant friendships can sometimes be found in the slowest moving companions. Welcome to Real Conservative. Headline News Travel Adventures. Luxor, Egypt, often described as the world's greatest open-air museum, stands as a majestic testament to the ingenuity and spiritual devotion of the ancient world. Located on the banks of the Nile, the city is built upon the site of ancient Thebes, the pharaoh's capital at the height of their power. The river naturally divides the landscape into two symbolic realms, the East Bank, representing life and the rising sun, and the West Bank, representing the afterlife and the setting sun. On the East Bank, the grandeur of ancient religious life is preserved in the Karnak and Luxor temples. Karnak is a vast complex of sanctuaries and pylons, most famous for its great hypostyle hall where 134 massive sandstone columns still tower over visitors. Nearby, the Luxor temple sits in the heart of the modern city, connected to Karnak by the recently restored Avenue of Sphinxes. Walking through these ruins, one can still feel the weight of history in the intricate hieroglyphics that detail the lives and beliefs of the people who built them thousands of years ago. Across the Nile, the West Bank holds the silent majesty of the Valley of the Kings. This desert necropolis was chosen as the final resting place for powerful rulers, including Tutankhamun and Ramses II. Hidden deep within the limestone cliffs, these tombs feature vibrant wall paintings that have retained their stunning colors for millennia. Nearby, the mortuary temple of Queen Hatshepsut rises in elegant terraces against the mountain backdrop, showcasing a unique architectural harmony. Together, these two banks offer a profound glimpse into a civilization that valued both the vibrance of earthly life and the eternal nature of the soul. Hope you enjoyed today's video, and we'll see you again next week as our journey around the world continues. Bible quote of the day. 1 John 4:1-6. Dear friends, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits to see whether they are from God, because many false prophets have gone out into the world. This is how you can recognize the Spirit of God. Every spirit that acknowledges that Jesus Christ has come in the flesh is from God, but every spirit that does not acknowledge Jesus is not from God. This is the spirit of the Antichrist, which you have heard is coming and even now is already in the world. You, dear children, are from God and have overcome them, because the one who is in you is greater than the one who is in the world. They are from the world and therefore speak from the viewpoint of the world, and the world listens to them. We are from God, and whoever knows God listens to us, but whoever is not from God does not listen to us. This is how we recognize the spirit of truth and the spirit of falsehood.
Folks, that brings us to the end of today's Headline News Weekend version. Thanks again to everyone who continues to support my content. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stay blessed and stay safe most of all. In Jesus' name.